Picture this. You're about to marry the love of your life. The flowers smell perfect, the music is on point, and everything is finally falling into place. And then, bam! Drama hits harder than a wedding photographer tripping over the cake, because out of nowhere, your stepmother shows up in a white dress. Yep, white. Like she just RSVP'd to be the star of the show instead of the bride. You freeze, the bridesmaids freeze, the room collectively inhales and silently asks, "What the actual heck?" And just when you think you might explode in a mix of horror and rage, your husband leans in and whispers, "She's just trying to get attention." Okay, simple enough, right? Wrong. He had a plan. And what he did next didn't just handle the situation, it shocked the stepmother and everyone else in the room. So grab your imaginary popcorn, because this is the story of a wedding drama that flipped on its head and the husband who saved the day in style. Let's break it down. 10 unforgettable moments that had me questioning reality, etiquette, and family dynamics all at once. Pre-wedding chaos. The calm before the storm morning of the wedding. Everything is buzzing like a beehive on caffeine. Bridesmaids darting around, adjusting veils, checking bouquets, tossing suggestions like confetti. You're half excited, half terrified, wondering if you'll trip over the dress or cry over the flowers. Little did I know, the real storm wasn't coming from the photographer or a missing boutonniere. No, it was coming through the door wearing white. And that brings us smoothly to moment 2, stepmother's surprise entrance. The plot twist nobody asked for. I was scrolling through sweet texts when bam, there she is, white dress. Smile. Confidence radiating like she just won the family lottery. You could hear the collective gasp from the bridesmaids. Cue the awkward freeze frame that would make any sitcom director jealous. And let's be honest, nothing says I'm here to ruin the vibe like stepping into a room looking like a second bride. But here's the kicker. My husband didn't flinch. Which brings us to moment 3. The silence that screamed. The air thickened faster than icing on a hot cake. Friends exchanged nervous glances. Eyes darted like surveillance cameras trying to decode the situation. My brain screamed, "Do something!" But my body just stood there, frozen. And in the middle of that silence, my stepmother, absolutely convinced she belonged on the runway, doing her little subtle look-at-me pose. Which brings us perfectly to moment 4. Stepmother wants to shine, a case study in boldness. "Oh, I deserve to shine today too," she announced like she was giving a TED Talk on entitlement. My internal monologue went from panic to plotting world domination in about 3 seconds. Meanwhile, my father was outside, blissfully oblivious, greeting guests like a cheerful NPC in a wedding simulation. And me? I had to decide, argue, cry, or trust the person who actually had a plan. Enter moment 5. Trusting my husband, calm in the eye of the white dress storm, our eyes met. He nodded. No words, just confidence. That's when I realized I wasn't alone in this. He had this. Even amidst chaos, his calm radiated like a lighthouse over stormy seas. I clenched my fists not out of anger, but patience. Patience that would soon pay off. Transitioning to moment 6 is like sliding on a perfect dose of suspense, because the ceremony begins. The ceremony begins. Spotlight on chaos. We moved to the altar. Every step felt like walking through quicksand made of judgmental stares and gossip. And there she sat, front row, white dress glinting in the sun like she'd auditioned for a soap opera. Guests murmured, eyes shifted, whispers filled the air like wind through a haunted hallway. But through all of it, my husband stayed steady, giving me this little smirk that said, "Trust me, it's about to get epic." And it did. Cue moment 7. Ignoring the distraction. Focus level 100. I focused on my vows, on our love, on the rings, on the sacred moment we'd been dreaming of since the engagement. White dress? Ignored. Murmurs? Background music. Chaos? Just another layer of seasoning on the ultimate wedding stew. But don't get me wrong, the suspense built like a Netflix thriller because my husband was about to turn the plot twist into the mic drop of the century. Enter moment 8. The husband's move, calm strategy in action. After the vows, he leaned in, whispered, "I can do this." And in that whisper, the entire room had no idea what was about to happen, but trust me, it was cinematic. He didn't just confront her, he disarmed her, with poise, with a calm so sharp it cut tension like a laser. And suddenly, the room's energy shifted from awkward dread to collective jaw drop. Which brings us to moment 9. The stepmother's surprise, shock, and awe. Her confidence faltered. The carefully curated act of "I belong more than the bride" crumbled like a poorly baked croissant. All eyes on her, she realized she had underestimated the groom. Big mistake. And that's the beautiful part. The moment wasn't loud, dramatic, or explosive. It was clever, understated, and undeniably satisfying. And finally, moment 10. Patience, perseverance, and a perfect outcome. With the ceremony behind us, calm, restored, we stepped outside. My stepmother trailing behind, defeated but still breathing. I looked at my husband and the relief washed over me. Strategy worked, dignity preserved, chaos managed, love celebrated. And the takeaway? Sometimes weddings aren't just about love. They're about timing, trust, and knowing when to let someone else handle the drama, especially if that someone happens to be the person you married. So here's the ultimate lesson. White dresses at weddings? They scream chaos. A stepmother craving attention? Classic. But with patience, composure, and the right partner, you don't just survive the drama, you turn it into a story worth telling. If you love this tale of wedding drama turned epic victory, hit that like button so more people can enjoy the chaos, subscribe for more stories where life refuses to follow the script, and drop a comment. What would you have done if your stepmother showed up in white on your big day? Because trust me, some stories are too wild to stay quiet.